There's a reason why I want you to listen, right? And pay attention. He's a sectarian, by the way. But pay attention, okay? Yeah. So I'm going to replay the video. We pay attention. Let's follow him step by step.
Sectarianism is a reality of life.
He says sectarianism is a reality of life, and which is true. You see Sunni, Shia, Ahmadiyya, Qadiriya, Tijaniya, Salafiya, Wahhabiya, you name them. You know the list, right? Istiqama, Ibadiyya. Help me to name them. All these groups, right? Sufiya, you keep mentioning them. Sectarianism is a reality of life. That is what this guy just said. Now listen, let's continue.
Because sects exist. Because
sects exist. Does that mean God approves it? The answer is no. But out of their most of them, their foolishness, they will be quoting hadith and telling you that the prophet said, oh, Islam will be divided into how many? He says 73 sects, and only the ones who follow the Quran and the Sunnah, they are right. That's another sect point of view. So let's listen to SHAMS DUHA himself, right? He's going to break it down critically for the critical thinkers. So listen.
Because sects exist and because people naturally incline towards the charisma of a person.
He's showing you the reason why sects exist. Because people naturally incline to the charisma of a person. He's telling you the reason, right? Okay.
And then it's all down to how that person educates them.
It is all done to have that person educate them. Okay?
So therefore, it's sad for me to say this, right?
It is sad. He doesn't want to say it. It is sad. But he has to say it because it's a reality. He's pinpointing the problems of having sects. It is sad, but though he has to say it, right? So now I'm helping you to discern and actually contemplate on what he's saying and see the reality of life. He himself said it's a reality. Okay.
I'm just as much a danger to you, perhaps.
And he claims he is much of a danger to the audience listening to him, perhaps. And this is why, babashuaib, I try, when I'm teaching you, my audience, I tell you, don't just listen to me like a sheep. Listen and listen carefully. And then take up the proofs I give and investigate for yourself. I'm not saying believe me 100%. You have to investigate, cross-check before you put your faith in there. You give credence to the truth, right? In a house, a father might have a wife and they have kids, but it doesn't mean all the kids will agree with the father. It doesn't work that way. Look, whether you force them, you don't force them, it's not by force for them to agree with you, right? It could be you are telling the truth, but they might not agree with you. It could be you are even lying and they will agree with you, right? But what I'm saying is, if you're listening to a person, whether because of the charisma of the person, whether you think babashuaib is knowledgeable, I'm wise, I have wisdom, and I know how to speak, articulate, don't just listen to me because for the sake of you like me. No. Listen to me critically and take the evidences I'm giving and reflect upon them. Whatever resonates with your logic, take it. If it doesn't, put it on the side, right? There's a difference between not agreeing with somebody and calling the person a liar. It's two different things. You might not agree with somebody doesn't necessarily mean the person is lying. Because may it be what the person is saying, you cannot phantom it, right? So at that given time, you might not agree, but doesn't mean the person is lying. Then there's a statement where a person will say, you know he's lying because you know the evidence. You have the factual evidence to prove that the person is lying. You see the difference. Then there is a point where you are listening to a person. The person might make a slip of a tongue, might err. That is why Musa alayhi salam said, La yadillu rabbi wa la yansa. My Lord does not err or forget. Right? It is only God who does not. So when you are listening to any learned person, especially learned people, critically listen, but don't leave your common sense behind. Always take your logic and common sense along. so that you ask the relevant questions in order to be guided. Yes, you can get guidance when somebody who has been guided by God is teaching you from the words of God. Yes, you can get guidance from that. Quran chapter 7 verse 181, right? There are those who take up the guidance of God, and by it they do justice, and they guide the people by it, right? And they do justice. So if God has guided me, yes, I can use God's guidance to guide, right? So now let's go back to listening to Shams at DUHA. I want us to pick some wisdom from what he just said. So let's listen carefully.
Right? But, you know, it's sad to say, but we head leaders of sects and people who teach are responsible for sectarianism, because we...
He says head leaders of sects, people who lead sects and teach, are responsible for these problems you find in sectarianism or religions. He's telling you who the problem is. And that is why you see babashuaib putting the videos of scholars here to talk about them. It doesn't mean I want to criticize their personality. No, it is based on their beliefs, and what they are talking about is what I'm criticizing. And I keep telling you, for a logical assessment of somebody's religion or faith or belief, instead of telling the person he's right or wrong, don't do that, because ego can play a role. Right? People have ego, especially people who are leading particular denominations. They have ego, especially if you want to correct them publicly. So instead of telling them they are wrong or right, don't do that. What you need to do is you have to ask them critical questions. You have to ask them questions that will push them to reason, so that they can see the lapses in their own logic, something to contradict what they believe in. Ask them questions that can contradict what they are believing in, so that they can see the lapses in their belief or in their faith. By doing that, so that they can come to their own realizations independently, because when they see the loophole in their faith, that is when they are curious to know yours, because they've seen theirs is a flop. So now they'll be curious to listen. They'll give you all the ears. So don't be surprised you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a son, you have a daughter, you have an uncle, you have your mother, your father. You're trying to convince them and they think you're crazy, you're mad. Don't be surprised, because they are not ready. The brain has not been triggered. They are not ready to listen to you, because in the first place, they think, who are you? They've already given the credence to the scholar. That's just like this Shams at DUHA is talking about. They've already given all the attention to that scholar. So not till they hear that same statement from you coming from the scholar, it cannot trigger their senses. You can only trigger their senses when you ask them critical questions. Don't be the one answering. No. You haven't reached that level yet. You are still learning. And that is why you like to support what I do, because you are still learning, right? So what you need to do is you ask critical questions to whoever you think you know, your mother, your father, your scholar. Ask them critical questions. Don't act like you know it all. Just ask them. If they turn the tables around to say, okay, let me ask you, just say, hey, I'm not a scholar. You are our leader. You are the scholar. So I want to know from you, why is it that we pray like this? Why is it that when you are sitting in your prayer, you do your hand like this? The scholars are telling you you are weeping the devil. I wonder if the devil is... You're which devil? So imagine how many billions of people doing this all over the world. You keep whipping this devil for how many years, but still he keep coming back. I don't get it. You understand? So they will tell you, you are whipping the devil like this when you do this in your salat. So just ask them a logical question. Sheikh, you say when we do this in our salat, we are whipping the devil. He will say, yes, the prophet says so. But I'm helping you to reason. Whether your father, your mother, don't act like you know when you're questioning them. Just ask them. Curiosity. Just say, oh, mom, I heard they said the prophet went on a flying burak. Is it burak or burka? To go and bring 50 prayers or 5 prayers. Is it true? They will say, yeah. So then say, mom or dad, then if he went to negotiate 50 prayers to get 5, then where are the rakat? The rakat were not mentioned. How many were they? You understand? Now your parent will start thinking critically, because he doesn't know your standing point of view. You are asking so that you can pinpoint the lapses in the person's faith. Now they will start critically thinking. They'll be thinking critically. My son, the question you ask is true. I need to find a scholar to ask. And be rest assured, your father will come back and tell you, I asked the scholar, he says, that's what he told us. We have to just believe. Okay, so let's go back to the video. Pay attention.
We teach in a sectarian way. Okay. Do you understand? Because
so the leaders who are leading these sectarian groups are teaching in a sectarian way. That is why they keep telling you, uphold the Quran and Sunnah. Come and follow Shia. Come and follow Sunnah. Come and follow Tijaniya. This is you. Reflect now. Try to reminisce and think about the past, the scholars you have known in your life. See the propaganda. See what they are actually inviting you to. You can see that they are inviting you to either Sunnah, to either Shia, to either Tijaniya, to either, you understand? Their cults is what they are inviting you. Not to God. Understand the difference. Okay.
We are supposed to help people because sectarianism is a natural tendency, because people naturally develop loyalties.
You understand? Sectarianism is a natural tendency. And people develop this loyalty for these sectarian groups. And that is why somebody will say, I'm a proud Sunni, I'm a proud Shia, I'm a proud Tijaniya, I'm proud Ahmadiyya. That's what they do. This is the tendency there. Okay.
Actually develop a sense of awe. They get awestruck by the charisma of an individual. Do you understand?
So the charisma of an individual, this is why in the sectarian religions, you can see they are upholding one person, that they are having this veneration and this amazement. You understand? Okay.
We're supposed to educate them in a way that rational thought.
That is what babashuaib does. You are supposed to educate people that allows their rational thoughts. Do what?
They understand the religion in a rational way.
To understand the religion in a rational way. Hello, this man is speaking on my behalf.
So that can emancipate them from an excessive loyalty.
So that it can emancipate them from an excessive loyalty to who? To the scholar's sectarian point of view. Rationality is needed in a religion. Rationality is needed in a religion. You can't just say out of foolishness, oh, because the hadith says it, so I believe. Because the Quran says it, I believe. Can't you use your IQ, your reasoning? Why do you think God gave you the brain and the head? The big head you have. Why do you think you have it? What? No, why do you think God gave you all that? So that you become a sheep? No. He gave you for a reason. And that is why in this modern day and age, common sense in religion is out of the equation. People, not even in religion, when it comes to the matters of politics, you mention it, everything. Common sense is gone. It's out of the equation. Logic, reasoning, rationale, out. And people are more, what? Sensitive in this modern day. They are more sensitive. Okay, let's listen.
An excessive blind following. But we don't educate people like that.
You see? So, when you teach people how to use their rationale, it will stop them from being excessive in blind following. They will not become blind followers. They will be critical thinkers, and they will ask the right questions in order to have guidance. Right? So ever since God guided me and I started my lectures, online lectures, when people send me questions in my inbox on my phone, it is always critical questions and critical thinking questions. It liberates the person from mental slavery. This is what I'm here to do for you. Other leaders, other African, other truth seekers, you know, they try to liberate people in a different aspect, maybe politically, through other means. I have decided to liberate people from mental slavery when it comes to the matters of religion. In religion, you have to have critical thinking ability and use your rationale. Don't be a sheep. Don't be a fool. Who is a fool? Someone who lacks good judgment. And that's why you see me many a times using such a word. You think I'm insulting? No, because God says it. Quran chapter 25 verse 44. He says, do you think that most of them listen or reason? He says, no, they are just like livestock. And he says they are even more astray than the livestock. Yes. To be honest, they are just like livestock. That's the truth. So let's listen to Shams.
Do you understand? When it comes to religious, when it comes to every other aspect of your education, you're a perfectly logical doctor. You're a perfectly logical lawyer. You're perfectly logical about all of that, right? But when it comes to religion, you're an idiot.
Aha, I love this part. I'm going back to what he said. Let's listen to what he said.
You're perfectly logical.
When it comes to religion, listen to what he said.
An excessive blind following. But we don't educate people like that. Do you understand? When it comes to religious, when it comes to religion, when it comes to any religious issue, listen. When it comes to every other aspect of your education, you're perfectly logical.
When it comes to every aspect of your life, meaning, but maybe education or anything, listen.
Doctor, you're perfect.
When it comes to your doctorate issue, you are a logical doctor.
Perfectly logical lawyer. You're perfect.
When it comes to being law, you are a logical lawyer. You see, law using logic, doctor using logic. Okay, let's go.
Logical about all of that, right?
Now you are logical about all of these issues he just mentioned. You're using logic. Politics, you use logic. Everything, you use logic. Now, let me show you where the logic is missing now. He's going to show you.
But when it comes to religion, you're an idiot.
When it comes to religion, you are an idiot. He's telling you, when it comes to religion, you are a person of subnormal intelligence. This is what he, a sectarian, has noticed from every sectarian cult. He knows. He's just telling you in the broad daylight. Because they are done with you. So it is the saddest thing he has to tell the audience, but he has to say it anyway, because he's done with you. Just like Mumtaz ul-Haq also tell you, you are blind followers of hadith. Whether you like it, you have no choice. You are blind followers. Because the scholars know they have done with you. That is why, babashuaib, I'm trying to liberate and try to let you emancipate yourself from mental slavery when it comes to religion, especially Islam.
Like, you don't think at all. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to do the dhikr.
So when it comes to religion, you are an idiot. You don't think at all. You just say, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to do zikr. A scholar, Mufti Menk, will just stand and say, oh, you have to do tasbih 1,000 times. The Jannah will be built for you. Then you say, Allahu Akbar. That is it. You hate your brother. You kill your brother. You cheat your brother. But you think you just take a tasbih and do this 1,000 times. And you think God will just build paradise for you. So that logic is gone. You see, in that aspect, logic is gone. But you are a medical doctor, you are a lawyer, you are a scientist, you are an engineer, you are whatever. All this aspect, you are using logic. But as soon as it comes to religion, you are dumb. You are an idiot. You are a fool. You are a bozo. Why? Listen.
It's that, hang on a second. Why does all of that intelligence that you apply in every other aspect of your life get suspended when it comes to your religious?
Why does your logic get suspended when it comes to matters of your religion? That's what he just said, the last statement. He said, why does all the logic you have that you can apply to your law, your doctorate, your education, politics, everything, why does it, when it comes to religion, this is suspended? Because the same scholars told you not to use logic. They say don't use common sense in religion. Don't use your logic. After God telling you he has revealed the Quran in Arabic language so that you mean la'allakum ta'qilun, so that you will give thought, you will reason. Akal, when we say akal, is to give reasoning, to use your what faculty to reason. Do you see the point? Now, I played this video for a reason. I'm going to show you how reasoning doesn't work for the sectarians. Listen to what Yasir Qadi said in this short video.
Whatever Allah says, whatever the Prophet ﷺ says, we believe in it and we affirm it without thinking too deeply about this, about the actuality of this act.
I think that's just dumb.
Hey, I'm a
believe that if we are honest with ourselves, that the most fascinating problem in the world